Hello. Today we will solve a question from the TOEFL reading section, focusing on the read a notice question type. We will practice understanding everyday notices, identifying rules, instructions, or key conditions, and selecting the most accurate answer based on practical, real-life written information. Welcome back, class. Today we are going to look at a public announcement from a historical society. These types of questions require you to scan for specific details like dates, costs, and requirements quickly. It is a very practical skill for the TOEFL and for life in an English-speaking environment. Let's get started. If you find these lessons helpful, please consider subscribing to my TOEFL to stay updated with our latest practice videos. It is a great way to keep your preparation on track. Westwood Historical Society. The title gives us the name of the group sending this message. The key words here are Historical Society. This tells us that the organization focuses on history and the study of the past. Knowing the source helps us predict that the content will be educational or academic in nature. Guest lecture announcement. The subtitle tells us the specific purpose of this notice. The important phrase is guest lecture. This indicates that a speaker is coming to give a talk or presentation. It confirms that this is an event announcement, so we should look for details like time, topic, and location. Join us for a special online lecture by Dr. This opening sentence invites the reader to the event. The most critical phrase here is online lecture. This tells us the format of the event. It is happening on the internet, not in a physical hall. This is a crucial detail for knowing how to attend. Eleanor Vance on the Silk Road, a network of ancient trade, this Friday at 7 p.m. Here, we get the specific topic and the timing. The title, The Silk Road, confirms the historical subject matter. We also see exactly when it is happening, Friday at 7 p.m. In notice questions, always pay attention to the time and date. Doctor. This title is used to address the speaker, indicating that she is an academic expert. Vance is a leading expert in ancient economic history. This sentence establishes the speaker's authority. The phrase expert in ancient economic history connects back to the organization's focus. It tells us that the lecture will be informative and based on historical research. This event is free for all members. Now we see the pricing rules. The word free is very important, but you must notice the condition attached to it. It is only free for members. This is a specific benefit for people who belong to the society. Non-members can join for a $5 fee. This sentence provides the rule for everyone else. The key word is non-members, and the requirement is a $5 fee. This contrast between members and non-members is a very common target for test questions, so keep this detail in mind. Please use the Zoom link provided in our monthly newsletter to attend. Finally, we get instructions on how to access the event. The text mentions a Zoom link, which confirms the online nature of the lecture. It also tells members where to find that link in the newsletter. All right, everyone, let's take a look at the first question. What is the primary focus of this organization? This question asks about the main purpose or interest of the group that wrote the notice. The key words are primary focus and organization. To answer this, we need to look at the name of the group and the topic of their event. The name contains historical society, and the lecture is about ancient economic history. Let's take a closer look at option A, online education. This option implies that the group's main goal is teaching over the internet. While they are hosting an online lecture right now, the group is a historical society, not an internet school. The online format is just a method, not their primary focus. Therefore, this is incorrect. Now, let's take a closer look at option B, international commerce. This option suggests the group deals with business and trade. Although the lecture title mentions trade on the Silk Road, the group studies the history of it. They are not a business organization conducting commerce today. So, this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option C, organizing social events. This choice implies the group exists mainly for parties or social gatherings. While a lecture is an event, the content is academic, focusing on ancient economic history. The primary purpose is educational, not social. Thus, this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option D, the study of the past. This option matches the definition of a historical society perfectly. History is the study of the past. Furthermore, the text mentions ancient history, which directly supports this idea. Therefore, this is correct. The correct answer is D, because the key expressions in the text directly match this option, while the other choices either provide incomplete information or clearly contradict the passage. Now let's move on to the second question. How can someone who is not a member attend the lecture? This question asks for the specific condition that applies to people outside the organization. The key words are not a member and attend. We need to scan the text for the word non-members or similar terms. We find the answer in sentence 6, which states that non-members can join for a $5 fee. Let's take a closer look at option A. By registering at the society's office, this option suggests going to a physical location. However, the notice says this is an online lecture and does not mention visiting an office. Therefore, this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option B, by paying a small admission charge. This option aligns perfectly with the text. The notice explicitly says that non-members must pay a $5 fee. A $5 fee is a small admission charge, therefore this is correct. Now let's take a closer look at option C, by promising to become a member later. This suggests a deferred commitment. The text does not mention future membership as a way to enter. It only mentions the immediate fee, so this is incorrect. Now let's take a closer look at option D, by getting a special invitation from a member. This implies that you need permission or an invite from someone else. The text does not mention invitations. It simply says you can join by paying the fee. Thus, this is incorrect. The correct answer is B, because the key expressions in the text match this option exactly, showing that careful scanning of the passage leads to the correct answer.